are welcome to this reflection for the 23rd Sunday in Ordinary Time, Year A. Our liturgy of the Word for this Sunday. The first reading from the book of the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 33, from verse 7 through 8 to 9. The second reading is taken from the letter of St. Paul to the Romans, chapter 13, from verse 8 through 9 to 10. And the Gospel for this Sunday is taken from the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 18, from verse 15 through to 20. My brothers and sisters, an author once posited that there are three things most difficult for human beings. These three things are not about physical feats or intellectual success or achievement. These three things, according to the author, are: first, returning love for hatred; second, including the excluded; and third, admitting that you are wrong. And from this third part, we take our theme for this reflection: admitting that you are wrong. My brothers and sisters, in the first reading of today from the prophecy of Ezekiel, the Lord reminded Ezekiel about his duty and responsibility as a watchman to remind the people of Israel about their infidelity and iniquity, and calling them to conversion and reformation. And this duty of the prophet Ezekiel, to stand as a voice of God, as a watchman, to correct wrongdoers, links the first reading to the gospel of today, which calls us to fraternal correction. And the first reading and the gospel are bounded together under one common denominator, which is love, as St. Paul tells us in the second reading. Love of neighbor is what drives us to correct a neighbor with love. And so, my brothers and sisters, the question comes back to us: do you admit that you are wrong when you have erred? Do I admit when I have done something wrong? It is a difficult thing, but it is something also very easy to do. And so the liturgy of the word today also reminds us of the responsibilities of leaders of the church, of those in authority, parents, teachers, guardians, on their roles as watchmen, to carry out their duties and responsibility of leading others towards the right path and the right way to give fraternal correction. And so we are in a world today where the problem is not sin, but the denial of the reality of sin. Our modern world today has a devotion to the false god of relativism, where right and wrong are no longer about objectivity and universality, but they have been brought to the individual whims and caprices. It is what the individual determines that is right or wrong. But today, the liturgy of the word is calling us, first of all, to be conscious, to beware of our errors, of our sins, that we have erred. And secondly, to take correction, admitting that we have wronged others, or we have also committed a sin, to admit that we have erred. And the responsibility of correcting is not easy. It takes courage, it takes sensitivity, and above all, love. As we celebrate this wonderful Sunday, let us ask the good Lord to grant us the grace, first of all, to learn to admit that we are wrong. Because as individuals, if we fail to admit that we are wrong, we cannot be good leaders of society, because we will give deaf ears to those who cry, especially our politicians of today. People cry, citizens are crying, but we see how insensitive they are. Because of what? They do not feel, they do not accept that they can make mistakes or they can err. And may the Lord bless you this Sunday and grant you the grace to be a true brother, a keeper, and one who corrects with love. God bless you.